Hey guys, to help run the forums, host the website, and travel, we've introduced a universal service fee for in-depth coverage, including this video. My goal is to be unbiased and transparent. It's a privilege to serve you. This is not an endorsement. Let's get into it. Hey guys, we're up on a parking garage. I'm checking out the new Tahoe Sport from E-Lux. I've reviewed just the standard Tahoe, which comes in step through, but this one only comes in high step unless you're Sam Townsend, owner of the Electric Bicycle Center in Fullerton.
Yeah, we had this one custom built for a guy that was almost 90 years old, and he wanted a low step, and the problem was they couldn't get a fork, so that he'd find something that would work, and they custom built it for us.
This is sweet, and you know, I love the suspension in addition to the 26 by 4 inch wide fat tires. These tires, they're not like the knobby ones that are, you know, for snow and sand and stuff. I think these would actually still give you pretty good float, but they're a little bit more street style, right? We got these beautiful paint match fenders, a chain cover so you won't get your pants dirty. I love that they've included bottle cage bosses, and it's just a sweet ride. It's really relaxed, upright. You'll notice that these handlebars are swept back. I was surprised they're aluminum alloy, and the stem, it's a quill stem, that's steel. So steel tends to be really like solid and durable, and I think that's why they chose it for the fenders. These are like 100 millimeters wide, by the way, give you great coverage. The point being, steel can also rust, okay? So be careful if this gets scratched up. You might want to use some nail polish or something, just touch it up, because it's just such a beautiful bike. Oh, and the lights just went off. Did you guys see that? Has an automatic like self-timer, times out after a little while if you haven't been riding and interacting with the display panel. 27.2 millimeters on that seat post, and they have already added a suspension post for you, a pretty good one. SR Suntour NCX comes with not quite this saddle. This was like a custom saddle, but Surface RX, so like health prescription, I think is what they're referencing, a little bit wider. And this is a really comfortable saddle. I haven't tried the other one, but I imagine it's similar because it's the same company. We got the locking ergonomic grips, hydraulic disc brakes, really nice to have those, and they do have motor inhibitors as well as a light activation switch. So I can actually activate the rear light. You can't see it, but it's turning on and off right now, even though the lights haven't been enabled. And coming back down here to the rotors themselves, these are 180 millimeters with Tektro Ariga dual piston calipers. Just definitely the kind of stopping power you want when you're on a heavier bike like this. It is 78 pounds. It's a fat bike with metal fenders, okay? It's always going to be the case. However, they've gone even further and given you a 48 volt, 20 amp hour battery, okay? That's just, it's huge, and it's like 10.5 pounds just for the battery. So if you're moving this thing, you might want to take the battery off, and it does come off pretty easily. You can charge it on the bike if you want to, or off, and that's kind of nice. Unfortunately, I forgot the charger, but it weighs 1.5 pounds. It's like a 2 amp charger, pretty basic, kind of what I'm used to seeing. It's going to take a long time, maybe 8 or 9 hours if you fully deplete that battery, but you probably won't. On the other hand, this does have, it's a Bafang 750 watt nominal, 1000 watt peak, fat bike specific hub motor, 750 watts. It is zippy, and you need that power to move a bigger bike and maybe a bigger person, but it got me beyond 20 miles per hour. It has throttle, it has pedal assist, 5 levels, and you've got a pretty decent drivetrain here, right? It's not too bad. It's Shimano Tourney, that's an entry-level derailleur, and it's really stretched out right now because I'm in the taller gear. You can see that that's for climbing. We're climbing the parking garage here. 32 tooth. A lot of time Tourney, it has a cheaper cassette that only goes to like 28 tooth. So I like this. This, to me, that's an upgrade, even though this is a cheaper entry-level part. You can see the derailleur shifter cable here, and then the power cable for the motor with the quick disconnect right there. So if you do need to service the rear wheel, you can. Try not to get a flat though. You know, changing these out, you're gonna need some tools. There's nuts, it's not quick release or anything. 10 millimeter axle up front with nuts again. 12 gauge spokes, okay? That's thicker than average. Average is like 14, 13, you see sometimes 12. That's really thick. And it's just gonna give you the extra support you need with such big tires and bigger rims here too. They could have gone with like punched out rims to reduce weight and given you a little bit more cushion, but they didn't. I'm not really sure why. These look pretty good in black. They get the job done, definitely. And maybe it was just for strength because you've got that suspension fork. 100 millimeters of travel. This thing is unbranded, so I don't really know, but it does have a compression, kind of a lockout clicker right here, so you can just click it over like that, lock it out. And then on this side it has preload. So if you're someone who's a little bit bigger like my friend Sam, what are you weighing now?
230.
Down to 2. Okay, nice, man. Yeah, doing pretty well. And you're just a bigger guy, so you know you might want to preload the springs.
Yeah.
Like with me, I'm like 135 pounds, so I want it like really loose. I like take all the loading out. What were you gonna say?
This is the most comfortable bike I've ever ridden to Huntington Beach from Fullerton. That's a 25-mile ride, and the E-Lux Tahoe Sport is the winner for me. Ergonomically speaking, for a big guy, it's just a comfortable fit for a big guy.
Yeah.
And this bike's nice, and I can ride all the way down to the beach, and I still can cruise up and down the boardwalk, and I'm not beat or tired when I get there.
That's the thing. This bike gives you a lot of freedom in how you ride too. Okay, it's not just like, oh, okay, it gets me there. It's like, well, I can relax and like, you know, just maybe not pedaling with that big fat saddle. It could kind of chafe your thighs a little bit. Maybe you've been at the beach all day, you just want to chill. You've got the trigger throttle, and I do like that it's a trigger throttle. It stays out of the way, and then they've got these nicer ergonomic grips and stuff. It's just a nice setup, and I'm trying to remember the price point on this one. Sam, do you remember? It's
$29.95.
$29.95. Yep. Yeah. So it's actually their prices. It doesn't go up too much considering that it's got a suspension fork. I think it's like $2,500 or something just for the Tahoe.
They start, I think, around 22, and they can go up from there depending on the size of battery, because the battery is 13. And
That's
20
right.
amp hour, big jump to the 20 amp hour battery.
So you get the bigger battery, you get the suspension fork, you get the, I don't know if the other one has mechanical brakes.
They're going to all hydraulic now, but before they were, so the prices are going to be adjusting, but they're going all hydraulic, and you got that big powerful motor back there.
Yeah.
The suspension seat post. Yeah, it's a nice package.
Quite a few little upgrades. I guess I'm just calling those things out because they do sell like incremental upgrades on their website. They talk about like, for me, this is the way to go, especially just because it all matches so nicely and it's all done for you. Finding a suspension fork that's like wide like this, 135 millimeter hub spacing in the front, 170 in the rear. They've done it right, and I love the fenders and everything. The trigger shifter up here, actually this is a thumb shifter, not my favorite. I like triggers, they're smaller, but sometimes they're difficult to reach when you have a trigger throttle in the way. So I get this, and if you have gloves on or something, it makes sense. Got a little cheap little flick bell there, and then we've got this nice display. It looks to me like a DOS kit display. I can't say for sure though. And then on the bottom, it has a full-size USB charging port. So maybe you're one of those people who wants to ride around with a little speaker setup up here on the bars, or you want to charge your smartphone, or maybe add another light or something, or do some like Christmas lights on the bike. That would be cool. You can totally do that. And in the back, they've got this, again, just custom fat bike specific rack up to 55 pounds with a triple bungee. It's got the pannier blockers on the side so they won't rub against the tires, and it fits appropriately, and it's got some good mounting points, so it just feels like it matches, right? And that's such a big deal for me. Keeps the light out of the way, but that's going to keep you safe. And then the kickstand, you know, normally my first instinct was like to complain about this because it's like right at the middle of the frame, and I thought it was going to collide when I pedal backwards, but it doesn't. Check that out, right? You can do service on the bike, you can back this out of your garage, and it'll work. One thing that is a little bit annoying is you have to leave the keys in while riding, because that's what activates the battery pack. This is like kind of a silverfish battery design. It does slide up and off, but the saddle and the clamp, it doesn't have like a flip up, so you literally have to like unlock your seat post clamp and pull the seat off each time if you want to service or charge the battery. So it's kind of a mixed deal, right? Definitely take that off to reduce the bike by 10 pounds when you're moving it, but you're gonna have to hassle with this and maybe forget where the post was set and everything. And then again, that key dangling around, especially if you have a keychain. So I see a lot of people just leave the key in without a keychain, but then if you park at a rack, your key's in, and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of a mixed thing. Come up to the display now that the battery's charged and turned on. Hold the power button just for a second. This display is pretty cool. You'll notice it was backlit for a second. I'm going to activate that again by tapping the power button. There we go, and you can see the icon. It's got power, normal, and eco mode. We're in power right now, but you can adjust that. We've got speed in miles per hour. Looks like Sam's adjusting the headlights. Pretty bright. And then down here, pedal assist. We're in level 0, but the throttle is active. So if you turn this bike on and then you're getting on the bike and you hit the throttle, careful, because it can take off on you and don't want to see someone get hurt. Battery management system, 50.4 volts, so you can kind of feel things out, or you can just rely on that 5-tick battery infographic, 20% steps there, okay? So it's not as precise as like 10 or if you had a battery percentage, but it gets the job done. And with such a big battery capacity, it's probably not as much of an issue. Down here it says trip. If we click set, it goes to time, odometer. You know, that's kind of it. Those are all the different points of feedback, and then plus or minus to raise the level of assist. Because this uses a cadence sensor, it's a 12 magnet, like internally sealed sensor, and you can actually see the little LED. Usually I do these like in the daylight and you can't see it as well, but there was a little LED activating in there a second ago. This is really well sealed, so if you do ride near like sand or just dust and dirt and stuff, I feel like it's not gonna get kicked out of place as easily. It's more reliable. It's a good setup. And I should mention these pedals, kind of mixed on these. They're alloy platforms, so they're like stiff, but they're not super big. They have a rubberized tread, so if you slip off, you won't cut your shin, but you might slip off, right? Because they're not as big. So you can replace those with like some Welgos with some set pins or something off Amazon for 20 bucks, or get some help at your bike shop. And then the final piece here, I think if we hold set for a couple seconds, that'll help us enter the menu, and we can change between power, normal, and eco mode. And again, eco is just gonna make it like a little smoother, save some battery, help you go further, and power is what you want for like that zippy feel. Click set again, and we can adjust, like clear our trip meter, change the speed, change the wheel size, and then go units, miles per hour, or kilometers per hour. I think we can adjust the top speed on this bike, right, Sam?
Yeah, you can. That second setting where it's at 62, you can drop that down, and you can govern the bike maybe for rental fleets and things like that.
Yeah.
Keep them down. Yeah, you can bring that down. That'll slow the bike down.
So look at that. That's kind of cool. 20 miles per hour. That's probably what you're going to want to do to keep this as class 2, which is a bike with a throttle. If you go above 20, that's kind of private property use, or, you know, just be careful, because, you know, there might be a liability aspect to this if you're going really fast with a big bike and you hurt yourself or someone else. The legal limit's 20. But they kind of had it ungoverned at 62. It doesn't mean it'll go that fast. It just means the motor's not going to quit. It's just going to
unlimited.
It's going to give you as much as it can. And for a big guy, you know, I know some bigger guys who...
I sell this to a lot of big guys. They really like this bike. There's not a lot of bikes that they'll fit on, and this is a bike that fits them well. They go for a test ride, and they come back and they're like, yeah, I like it.
Will you just tool around the parking lot again real quick, Sam?
Let's do it.
She's going to... Picks it up, no problem.
Here we go.
Maybe do a brake test back here.
Got it. I'll come back around.
Love that light. And you can see it's kind of aimed down. It's catching the fender a little bit right now.
Right at you.
Oh yeah. Plenty of stopping power, even for the big guys, man. I love that. I like your helmet too. Look at this.
Yeah, I saved that for the last.
Hey.
Right?
Yeah, look at this.
This is brand new. They just brought these in about a month ago. We ordered up about 24 of them. We've only got about 8 or 9 left in the shop. They've gone that fast.
Who makes
Surface.
that? Surface?
Surface.
And it's got the little bee bug catcher, so you'll get stung. Guys, this is like 7 reviews in 2 days. The same shirt for all of them.
Yeah, we busted them out.
We busted it out. Okay, so again, Sam, Electric Bicycle Center.
Absolutely.
Thank you. You're so generous. There's other shops and stuff around. I like to go visit Sam because he has the variety, has the relationships and stuff. But really, we do this for you guys, and we're doing our best. So take care, ride safe.
Yep. Thanks, Court.
Okay, guys, we got the 2 bikes. Just gonna cruise around the building here for a minute. Sam, maybe I'll hop on the step through this time and follow you around.
Sounds good.
Again, this is like a custom job. It seems like the default for the company is only the high step. Here we go. Nice. And I can hear the motor zipping a little bit more because it's so powerful. But I love the smooth activation on that trigger throttle. It just gives you a lot more control. Sometimes the pedal assist it comes on in like short bursts. We're in the parking garage. We're gonna try to ride safely, but I thought it was pretty cool because you can see the headlights and stuff. So take it away, Sam.
Let's go.
It's got no problem climbing. And Sam, I think he weighs like 230. I'm just using all throttle here. Beautiful sunset. Beautiful. It's just a really comfy bike. The big tire is also pretty stable. A little no hands action going on. Hey guys, from here you can see the chain. We got the 42 tooth steel chain ring, steel chain cover. Love its paint matches the fenders and everything. Really beautiful, but they are steel, so if you get little nicks and stuff over time, you might want to touch them up or just keep an eye on it so it doesn't rust. I believe this is an e-bike specific chain, the Z chain, that is rust resistant, so I definitely appreciate that. And then in the back, even though it's Shimano tourney and 7 sprockets, it's 11 to 32 tooth spread, which is a lot wider. A lot of times you'll see 14 to 28 teeth. So this just gives you potential for a higher top speed and easier time moving a bike that's, you know, a little bit heavier. 78 pounds on this versus 77 on like the non-sport model. So I'm gonna ride along, listen for the sounds and how quickly the motor starts and stops. We got that sealed cadence sensor down there, clean, but it's still kind of an on-off feel. And there's a little bit of bouncing. You might hear the kickstand as we go over some of these bumps. I found an especially bumpy road to test this out because with the suspension and everything. I got it in the highest level of pedal assist so you can hear the motor. Again, 750 watts. Oh yeah. This bike is extra long, so hopefully I won't be kicking the camera. It just gives it a kind of a slow, smooth feel turning. And I think it matches the bigger tires. It keeps the fender from getting quite as close so you don't get like toe strikes when you're pedaling too. So I'm just gonna cruise along this street, maybe use throttle mode and try to give you a view. It's a cool bike. It feels similar to the bike that I've reviewed before with you. You know, E-Lux does a great job. They've been in business now for several years, and they're an OC brand, so Southern California.
Out of Costa Mesa with Jerry and JP, and you know, E-Lux stands for Electric Luxury.
And they got it here, and that's the thing. It feels like basically this is just the same bike that I've seen before, but like with all the fixins and more comfort than before even, so I like that. I think that's about it. We got to see the custom step-through version. Maybe we'll see that like for real in the future.
Yeah, and you know, another thing with these guys is it only comes in red, but I've had them build me some other colors. So, you know, they're willing to work with the dealers. If somebody's wanting a particular color, give them a holler and see if they're willing to do that. That
means so much. Like, that's part of the Sam's deal here, is you carry a lot of local brands like Cameron, that's Motive, and Ejo, it's Willie. These are guys that'll kind of hook you up and they work with you to improve the product. Some of these ideas might have come from your customers, actually.
And the dealer network as well.
Yeah.
They get feedback and they implement that, and the next thing you know is your idea's on the bike.
That's a good point. And I should say, while we're, you know, got the step through in the background. If they do offer that bike, there's a little bit more frame flex. That's one of the things you trade off.
True.
This one, the high step, you got to pick your leg way up or tip the bike, especially with a rack. If you try to swing your leg over, you can kind of clunk your shin. I do that a lot. Do the brake light thing again real quick. Yeah, that is good job, E-Lux. I think they did a great job on that. We're literally running out of light now, so I think we're gonna call it. That's it, you guys, for the full written review on this thing, like all the specs, some more details. I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com. Chime in if you feel like maybe I missed something or you have some feedback. I always love to hear from you guys. And Sam, again, thank you so much for a lovely evening.
You got it.
Ride
Let's
safe.
go for a ride.
Woo!